Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is April, and if this is your first time here, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the steps that I take to have more of a sweat resistant mattified look with my foundation. And if you have oily skin, this video is perfect for you because we all know during the summer or even throughout the year, you're struggling like, why do I look so oily? Why am I always so shiny? Like, why do I have to keep touching up my makeup? Like, why am I always blotting and things like that? Well, the steps in this video, it's gonna minimize that a little bit more for you. So definitely keep watching. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, stylebystone_, and then like the video at the end if you've loved it. And leave me a comment. Let me know you were here, that you watched it. All right, guys, watch the video. So when I'm going out and I want a really smooth matte finish to my skin, it always starts with skincare and skin prep prior to putting on the actual makeup. So I just picked up this GlamGlow Instamud 60-second pore refining treatment, and it's like a little mask. It looks like this. Because the bottle is so like neon, it's hard for my camera to kind of pick it up. But if you just Google it, GlamGlow Instamud 60-second mask or 60-second mask. I got it at Sephora. It is one of their newer products. So you just put that on before you actually put on your primer or your moisturizer or anything like that. So it kind of just sucks out any of the dirt that's in your pores, and it's just a really quick wake up mask for your face. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on and let you see how it looks. And a lot of my pores are like really big right here, so I make sure I focus the mask in that area. And you literally just wait a minute. It will start to foam up. You'll start to hear like the little bubbles in your ear, and that's how you know it's working. And it's literally a minute. So it's 7:56 a.m. right now, so I'm just gonna wait till 7:57. But while that's working, a little bit about the product. I have used this a few times before. It is $42, which I feel like is very pricey for a minute mask. I don't know, want it to sit on a little longer than a minute for $42, unless it was like, you know, 60 seconds later and I have new skin, then yes, I would pay $42. But this is a treatment, and as you know, treatments, they take time, they work overtime, they don't happen instantaneously. So I don't know, for $42 is kind of a bit much. You do get 1.7 fluid ounces, and I don't feel like you need a lot of it for it to start working. So my minute is now up. I'm going to rinse this off and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
So I'm back and I've washed my face off, and since then I have toned my skin, moisturized, did my eyes and my eyebrows. After you rinse your skin off from the minute mask, it does have like a cooling, tingling sensation. It does feel like the bubbles are still kind of popping on your face, but it doesn't burn or anything. So I would definitely give that a try. So next I'm going to just prime my skin, and I'm going to use the ColourPop All-Star Matte and Blur Primer. Claims to matte and blur your skin. I did use it once, and I do really like the texture and smell of it. And I just take a little bit, like a dime size, and rub it on. And it doesn't feel like super drying, but my skin doesn't feel like oily either. I am still gonna set my primer with my powder as usual. That's just something that has always worked for me, whether I'm using an expensive primer or I'm using an inexpensive primer. setting my primers just always works for me. And especially during like the summer months and you want it to be like sweat proof and humidity proof, definitely try setting your primer. Only if you're oily or normal to oily, then definitely try it. If you're more on the drier side, usually people that are dry don't really want to be matte, so they don't have to worry about like setting and sprays and things like that to make them more matte throughout the day. But if you are more normal to oily, definitely follow these steps. So next, I'm just gonna go in with my foundation, and I am gonna use the Cover FX foundation, and this is the Power Play foundation in the shade N90. I like this foundation because it does have like a very matte finish to it once it dries down. What I don't like about it is the packaging, because you kind of have to like squeeze it out. I do prefer pumps with my foundation just so I can gauge how much I'm using. With the squeeze bottle, I can't really gauge how much I'm using, because you measure things by pumps with foundation. It's not a rule, it's just like how I've always measured how much foundation I'm using. I don't really measure it by like squeezes, like, oh, I've used 2 squeezes of foundation. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to do the ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and this is in the shade Medium Dark 34. It's less yellow than the 36 that I was using. And the ColourPop concealer is a little bit more matte than the Kylie concealer. So if you want something a little more sweat proof, a little bit more matte, then definitely use the ColourPop one over the Kylie one. So as you can see, my face is already more matte. Everything's starting to dry down and like come together. So definitely when you're looking for something more mattifying for the summer months, make sure you use products that are geared to mattifying the skin. From here, I am going to just contour and do my usual powders, and then I'll be right back. I am back. Since then, I've contoured and highlighted, added some blush. The powder that I used to set everything was my Patrick's powder. I want to go back to that and take a break from the Ethereal Too Faced powder, because I feel like the Too Faced powder kind of gives a little bit of a flashback, and I don't know if I said in a previous video that it didn't, but I never really use a flash. I'm always near like natural sunlight, so when I did take a picture in a restaurant and the flash was used, I was like, I look crazy. And I feel like the Patrick's powder doesn't do that to me. Patrick's powder does not set me up. So I went back to that today. I'm still gonna dust off everything with the Studio Fix powder, and my shade in that is NC50. And the reason I use the Studio Fix powder is because it has color in it. I don't want to dust off translucent powder with more translucent powder. But if you didn't know, Studio Fix powder has silica in it, which is a derivative of sand. So it will kind of absorb any moisture or sweat in the skin. Okay, so the last step that I'm gonna take to kind of set everything, lock it in place, and just ensure that I stay matte throughout the day is I'm gonna use the ColourPop new Face Setting Spray in All Star. It looks like that. I never really use setting sprays. I feel like they don't work, or I'm gonna get oily anyway, which I am, but I feel like what I didn't understand about setting sprays, like any other oil control mattifying product, is that it kind of keeps me matte longer versus like not at all. I'm always going to be oily. That's my genetic makeup. I'm just oily. But the products that I use is going to help to keep me matte longer throughout the day so that I'm not touching up as often. Now, I don't mind touching up. I'm okay with touching up. It's really not a big deal to me. But if I can touch up less, then I'll take that. So I'm just gonna shake this up a little bit. And then so this is a product that I've used already once before as well, because I purchased it when I purchased the ColourPop primer. When I first used it, I was like, I look crazy, which I do right now. Like you can see, like this looks disgusting. Like all the dots in my face from it being wet. But when I gave it like 5 minutes, my skin looked amazing. So if you do purchase the ColourPop primer and setting spray, they're $10 each, so you only spend $20 in total. And for the price that it is, I do feel like they work really well. Like the primer does mattify my skin. It does soften my skin and give it like a blurred texture. And the setting spray actually does work. I do look crazy at first, but as it dries down, like my skin does start to look matte and like the makeup kind of like just falls in place. If you have any other questions or tips and tricks that you want to leave in the comment box, definitely leave that down there. I do love reading your comments. I do respond to your comments. So leave me a comment and let me know you were here. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, if you learned anything new, if you are oily and you can relate to being oily like me and you're like, hey, I didn't know this, but you know, I learned it now watching your video. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, stylebystone_, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.